A new study done by researchers in California is the first to analyze the effects of microscopic air pollutants on people's long-term health. And the results are depressing. They, quote, found a link between chronic exposure and early death from heart disease. The study analyzed 100,000 middle-aged women in California from 2001 to 2007 and found an especially strong link between heart disease and certain components of ultra-fine particles, including exhaust from diesel engines and copper from brake pads. Ultrafine particles are not regulated by state and federal emissions rules. So that's really scary. There's an elephant in the room when it comes to our health, our long-term health, and that elephant is the fine particulate matter that comes off of brake pads. It's totally unregulated. We don't see it, but it's greatly harming our health. And also, this study controlled for more than 24 other risk factors, including smoking, drinking, and exercise. So they factored in everything they could, and we still found that there's a link between breathing in this fine particulate matter and heart disease. So, I mean, the logical deduction from this is if you live near a very busy highway or a road, or you're living in a city, a very densely populated city, you're greatly increasing your risk for heart disease, and you're really hurting your health. And this is on top of the study we covered probably about a year ago, which found that I think they started to officially classify or categorize air pollution as a carcinogen. So you have air pollution is a carcinogen, and also it affects your heart health, and it affects it greatly. And meanwhile, the regulations to really address these problems are lacking tremendously. I mean, there's no, like we just said, there's no regulation whatsoever on the ultrafine particles from brake pads. None whatsoever. See, when I read this story right here, it becomes utterly apparent to me that we need to have the EPA step up, and we need to have them fully funded, and we need to have strong rules that stand up for the common good. I mean, their whole point is to be this independent third party that's above business interests, and they're supposed to regulate the business interests and do so on behalf of the American people to the point where our lives aren't being detrimentally affected in these strange ways because of business as usual. The whole point of the EPA and the FDA and these different government agencies is that you mitigate the problem of externalities within a capitalist system. And externalities is the unintended consequences of a laissez-faire capitalist system where you have an increase in pollution and things of that nature, which are wholly unaddressed by the system left to its own merits. So you have to step up and do your job right, and you have to fix stuff like this. But unfortunately, we're in a current political climate and under a current system today where whether it's the EPA or the FDA or other government agencies, they rely so heavily on funding from the businesses that they're supposed to be regulating that they oftentimes turn a blind eye while those businesses fuck over our health in various different ways. So I don't know, or actually, let me say, I don't think that this is going to be addressed in any serious way anytime soon. It's not even on their radar, and that's the problem. The problem is it's a huge problem. We're discussing how big of a problem it is. We have the studies to back it up now, and it's totally off the radar, totally not a part of the conversation, even though in a sane world, something like this would be addressed tomorrow.